Being considered a loser is indeed a subjective matter, and Stoic teachings offer a unique perspective on this. The philosopher Epictetus, who embraced Stoic philosophy, addressed crucial issues related to what we typically aim for in life. And, if you wish to be the first to discover more pearls of wisdom like these, please subscribe to our channel and activate the notifications. Welcome to the enlightening world of Stoicism, where the ancient meets the new, and where we learn to maintain composure and move forward. Now, let's delve deeper. In contemporary society, success often translates to wealth and fame, but Epictetus saw these achievements as of little value when compared to inner rewards. He emphasized how our relentless pursuit of external achievements and validation hinders us from attaining something of great importance, an unshakable state of happiness unaffected by external circumstances, including the opinions of others. However, the fear of being labeled as losers often compels us to endure hardships in pursuit of others' approval. This is a regrettable situation because when we place our happiness in external achievements, we become hostages to them and risk forfeiting our true freedom and happiness. Following the Stoic path, Epictetus urges us to abandon what he calls lesser things. If this results in being considered a loser by society, he believes it's a price worth paying. This video does not endorse neglect or self-harm. Instead, it explores Epictetus's Stoic philosophy, offering a unique perspective on what truly matters in life, addressing the concept of being a loser and why being labeled as such is not necessarily negative. Defining what it means to be a loser can be subjective, and the Merriam-Webster dictionary provides a definition that aligns with the theme of this video, which I quote, "an incompetent or incapable person who cannot achieve success." However, competence and success are concepts that vary from each person's perspective. What is competence to some may be seen as incompetence by others. The same applies to success. What is considered success can vary greatly from one person to another. For example, the successful management of a small business, such as a hair salon, is widely regarded as success by many, demonstrating how the perception of success is highly subjective. From a Stoic perspective, the concept of success and competence is an ever-changing portrait, shaped by the circumstances of the era, variations among social groups, and even cultural and religious nuances. The designation of someone as a loser is essentially a volatile and nebulous construct that derives its meaning primarily from the interpretations of others. However, when we introduce the idea of being a loser into the context of contemporary consumerist and capitalist societies, we can observe a deep connection with the pursuit of external acquisitions, notably money and fame. People often have a specific model of elements they consider necessary to achieve fulfillment, a model that varies considerably. For some, it entails securing a highly paid job, an attractive partner, 2 or 3 children, and a white picket fence. For others, this model encompasses accumulating a large number of followers on social media and building an extensive and captivating social circle that serves as proof of their attractiveness. Now, if you don't fit this conventional model, you are labeled as a loser. You are considered incompetent to achieve what is generally valued, and therefore incapable of attaining success in life. Tragically, being considered a loser is a situation of double penalization. This implies not only that you have failed in the eyes of others but also that you are an object of ridicule due to this supposed failure. However, it is valid to question how desirable the widely considered should be really is. And how negative is it to be the subject of mockery if you don't conform to these conventional standards? This is where the wisdom of Epictetus comes into play. What do we truly desire? What makes material possessions, extreme wealth, or social media fame appealing? Essentially, it's the promise of happiness that drives us to pursue them. We imagine a world where crowds of admirers worship us as we enjoy cocktails on a paradise beach, accumulating praise and likes on our social media pages. It must be extraordinary. And, for a while, this life may seem amazing, but over time, we become accustomed to it and return to our fundamental happiness, now at an extremely high price. Epictetus did not hold these external goods in high regard. He characterized them as fragile, subservient, and, most importantly, beyond our control. While we pursue these goals like wealth and fame, we are seeking the ephemeral, as we are chasing that which can be taken from us in the blink of an eye. Furthermore, the pursuit of these things comes at a considerable cost, a price that many are willing to pay, but it involves significant sacrifices. Based on Stoic principles, an illustrative example is one in which someone aspires to succeed in the Olympic Games, an achievement that, even today, if attained, commands great respect. However, we are prompted to consider the weight of the necessary sacrifices and the true utility of such pursuit. Epictetus reminds us that the journey involves conforming to strict rules, adhering to a rigorous diet, renouncing indulgences, submitting to an exercise regimen that allows no deviation, be it under the scorching sun or rigorous cold. A person must abstain from drinking cold water and sometimes even wine. In summary, it is a total surrender to the coach, almost as if they were a physician. Even so, in the heat of competition, one may be thrown into a pit, suffer injuries, twist ankles, swallow dust, be whipped, and in the end, may not achieve victory. I conclude the quote. So, the question that arises is it worth it? Is it wise to endure such effort only to obtain, in the words of Marcus Aurelius, a tumult of voices? Especially when we realize that public praise is fleeting and can turn into public shame in the blink of an eye. These things are not consistent, warns Epictetus. He emphasizes that only what is under our direct control deserves to be pursued, such as internal qualities of contentment, joy, right conduct, serenity, and self-mastery. The rest is overvalued and belongs to a secondary plane. Epictetus repeatedly draws the line between the essence of things and the interpretation our mind gives them. For example, he guides us to distinguish between our view of loved ones and what they actually are. Although someone may consider their spouse and children unique and desirable above all other families, they are still, intrinsically, human beings like everyone else. What makes them special to us is the way we perceive them, not their objective condition, stripped of our judgment. This reasoning can be applied to everything external. What makes an object of desire so appealing? Is it the object itself, or is it the way our mind views it? Often, we are like a flock, desiring something only because others desire it. Similarly, we avoid what no one else wants, namely, being labeled a loser. It's worth noting that there's nothing inherently wrong with desiring what the majority seeks. In many cases, what the majority desires can be beneficial for health and well-being. However, in many other situations, this does not apply. It requires discernment and wisdom to determine whether it's wiser not to follow the herd in pursuit of what everyone desires. For Epictetus, the essence was in achieving a state of happiness and freedom, and he emphasized the willingness to renounce what hinders us from that goal. From a Stoic perspective, if we are labeled as losers in the eyes of others, so be it. What's so problematic about being considered a loser? Is it truly a lamentable fate, or do we perceive it as such because others' opinions make it so? Let's suppose we have enough to meet our basic needs but not much else going on in other aspects of our lives. We lack intriguing social circles, partners, or social media followers, and our jobs are not noteworthy. As a result, people label us as losers, implying that we are somehow inferior to those who pass such judgment. The fear of being considered inferior by others is disturbing to many people because it directly attacks their identities and self-esteem. But in essence, is someone really inferior due to the lack of certain external circumstances? Does being rich and famous make someone a better person than someone who is poor and unknown? Following Epictetus's logic, such reasoning lacks sense. He observes that these connections are fragile. I'm richer than you, so I'm better, or I'm more eloquent than you, so I'm better. The real connection runs deeper. I'm richer than you, so my wealth is greater than yours, or I'm more eloquent than you, so my speech is superior to yours. However, in the end, you are not your wealth or your eloquence. I conclude the quote. Our external circumstances have little relevance to our internal well-being, which is what truly matters from a Stoic perspective. However, we often value them excessively, to the point of sacrificing our happiness and freedom to be seen as adequate in the eyes of society and to avoid being labeled as inferior. Therefore, being considered a loser in itself is not something negative. What truly matters is how we interpret this situation. If we view things like public praise, reputation, and others' esteem for what they are, namely, fickle, unstable, often insubstantial opinions based on illusions and deceptive appearances, and entirely beyond our control, then we may find it easier to develop indifference towards them. In this context, we realize that being labeled as a loser is not terrible. Being a loser in itself does not hinder our ability to achieve happiness and freedom. In fact, the excessive effort to avoid this labeling is what can compromise these achievements. As Epictetus emphasized, set before your eyes each day those who have had to endure every sort of hardship and who have been in public disgrace and put to death. In the end, regardless of the path we choose, we will have to pay a price one way or another. The crucial question is, what price are we willing to pay? Epictetus makes a clear distinction between these two options, as he stated, be a philosopher or join the common crowd. Choosing to follow the common path that most people choose comes at a significant cost, our inner well-being. We pay the necessary price to achieve what is generally considered desirable, such as wealth and praise. This implies trading our freedom, health, and inner tranquility for participation in the frenetic race for others' approval and incessant comparisons with our neighbors. Opting to be a philosopher, on the other hand, means we are willing to pay the price of not pursuing, or at least not prioritizing, what common people desire. Therefore, it is likely that we will lead a rather modest, discreet, simple life devoid of external pleasures. In the eyes of many, we will be seen as the prototype of a loser. However, according to Epictetus, a true philosopher always places inner peace and happiness above all, even above matters like work, money, and comfort. He notes, if you desire to make progress, do not make things like these your goal. If I neglect my business, I will not have an income. If I do not discipline my servant, he will be insolent. For it is better to die of hunger, free from grief and fear, than to live in affluence with perturbation, and it is better for your servant to be bad than for you to be unhappy. End of the quote. While it may seem like an extreme approach, Epictetus is notable for his consistency in prioritizing what he sees as genuinely valuable. To maintain unwavering calm in any circumstance, we must be willing to let go of everything. Anything external to which we cling, no matter how insignificant, has the power to influence our mental state. Setting aside these external anchors represents a challenging path filled with obstacles, meager rewards, and even hostilities and resistance. He emphasizes, you must renounce comfort, work tirelessly, leave people behind, be despised by those in lower positions, be ridiculed, and, at best, receive mere scraps in terms of recognition and status in all matters. Reflect on these costs and see if you are willing to pay them to acquire peace, freedom, and serenity. If you are not willing, walk away from philosophy. End of the quote. So, are you labeled as a loser in the eyes of others? Are you the target of ridicule and disdain? At first glance, this may seem bleak. The reputation of being a loser may represent a weak and pitiful position. However, this condition also presents remarkable advantages, such as not conforming to the standards imposed by others and preserving the energy we would otherwise waste in pursuing what Epictetus calls lesser things simply to please others and be considered sufficient. In summary, being labeled as a loser has the advantage of not paying the price for not being a winner. Ironically, this could turn a loser into a true winner. As Epictetus' words remind us, it is essential to have the wisdom to discern what is genuinely beneficial and the strength to remain consistently on this path, regardless of considerations like praise, wealth, power, and social status. He emphasizes, do not wish to be a general, senator, or consul but aspire to freedom, and the only means to achieve it is to disregard what is beyond our control. If you found at least a glimmer of value today, a spark of enlightenment, or simply enjoyed our time together, please consider subscribing, giving a generous like on this video, and turning on the notification bell. It's not for vanity in numbers, oh no, but so we can maintain this spirit of growth and wisdom. This was my contribution. Thanks for watching.